culture of innovation, right? Good morning, sir. How
Hello,
are you?
hello, how are you all?
Yes, fine, sir. Fine. Thank you for joining in and your most valuable time once again. And we have about an hour, and I hope that we can do justice to the presentation that we have today. And most welcome everybody. And without wasting any more time, I think I will straight away go to the presentation, sir. Should
Please
I?
go ahead.
Yeah, should I? Yes. So as you can see on this, and if you can just, close your videos, so that the bandwidth is good and you can have a good experience of everything that we share. Yeah. So basically, I can just say that, the presentation is in front of your screen and you can see the presentation. I hope it is visible to you.
Yes, I can see.
Yes. So this is basically the innovation and startup suite, and the key objectives behind creating this suite was to meet the new innovation and startup policy guidelines, which talks about democratization of innovation and startups. The culture has to be spread in the entire university. Number two, to increase the Atal rankings, which is ARIA, for innovation and entrepreneurship. Number three, to develop large-scale innovation culture and capacity through the digital tools, because 17,000 students cannot be covered by the professors unless they have the digital tools accessible to them on the smartphones and the computers wherever they are, 24/7, anytime, anywhere, because that is what is the latest global trend. And the other thing that we have over here is accelerate and scale up the breakthrough innovations, because my experience in the last about 15-20 years of this journey that I have, even while at the Federation of Indian Chambers and CII and many of the universities, we set up many centers in India, is that there are no breakthrough startups. There are no breakthrough innovations. We have many of these innovations which can be called incremental, and so 99% of them, they fail. Our intervention strategy is basically to help you to create quality and breakthrough innovations. Then the greatest advantage of this is the collaboration between the MNCs and the academia. You know that open innovation has become the global trend, and 75% of the Fortune 500 companies, they retain their market leadership because they tie up with the universities and they tie up with the startups for getting the outside ideas in. I think it's a boom time for universities to seek that advantages rather than operating in silos. Now, these companies, they provide mentorship, they provide prototyping support, they provide funding, and they provide their marketing networks to scale up the startups. Next, get the funding support from Government of India, for example, Atal Innovation Mission, Smart India Hackathon, AICs, for setting up the Atal Innovation Incubator, at a fast pace, and also the fund from DST and many other government institutions today who are sitting on the funds, but there are no projects. So how can we leverage those, and even the funds from the industry? How can we leverage? One of the biggest, parameter taken for ranking the most innovative and most, university in the world with the startups is the number of funds that they have raised. That is the most important criteria. And I think many of the universities, they are not able to raise funds because their projects are not venture worthy. Our idea was to provide you with that kind of a support to create funds for your innovations. Start earning the additional revenues by our plug and play cloud method. I think I want to tell you one thing here, the principal difference and the most important differentiator we have from the other software providers is the world-class learning management systems which comes with the software. Most of these software providers internationally, I have seen them, they only provide these softwares per se. They do not provide LMS. They do not provide knowledge management softwares to develop the overall culture, which is very much required. If you go to their mind maps or anything, they will have blank templates. But we provide, as you will see, all the tools, everything which comes with the integrated knowledge learning management systems on the cloud, which is very important for developing the culture in 17,000 students that you're looking for. Another very important development, I would say, is our collaboration, with United States. Global Innovation Institute, the world's leading institution in innovation in US, has partnered with us to market this in 40 countries to the governments for improving their global innovation index. And I think it has got a great impact on the overall human capital of the world. I think it is one of the most powerful softwares that they analyzed in the world. And they said that I think InnovationNext is one of the best in the world. So they partnered with us. So good news, sir. India will be exporting innovation to 40 countries where Guinea is present. And we already have the interest from the government of South Africa to provide this to 26 government-funded education institutions over there, and along with 25 more institutions which are the part of the Department of Science and Technology. As a passionate Indian, I feel that this should first be adopted here in India. I do not want India to become last because this has been developed in India. And that is what is the passion that I share. And sometimes, it is very, very important that, India goes ahead and, our global innovation index is, I think, on 48th position. China has risen to 13. If cumulatively it is adopted by India, our WIPO index, we filed 13,000 patents compared to 13 lakh patents filed by China. We are nowhere near to them. So that is the whole objective we had when we were developing this. And I wanted to clear the perspective very clearly so that, as you see the next things, you have that in mind as to how we are developing a large scale innovation capacity and also the startup capacity. I will straight away go to our World Innovation Network platform, which is basically the, in fact, I would like to show what we cover first. So what we cover over here is the World Innovation Network, which comes on smartphones and computers. Number one, we provide 3D idea generators, which is innovation rubrics, which helps the students to become creative and, very innovative in terms of coming up with the new ideas, because there is no tool in the world like this, which can trigger imagination, and trigger creativity in the students, because that we lacked as an education system. And it was very important to provide that so that everybody becomes very creative. Number three, ready to use mind maps. The word ready is very important. So it's instant. The students do not get the blank mind mapping templates. We covered mind maps for 30 industry verticals. We covered mind maps for all technologies. We covered mind maps for all industry functions. We covered the mind map for startup development framework. We covered the mind map for design. I will show you later on so that, the students, the whole idea was how do you make their life easier? Because when they enter into the college, their mind, because of our rote education system, is not that advanced that they can start creating these mind maps. We cannot expect them to give them a blank template and tell them that, hey, you please create a mind map. That in itself will take a lot of professor time. So the biggest problem that our educational institutions they face today is the dearth of the quality professors. Teaching 17,000 students is a mammoth job. This is going to save tremendous amount of your cost when it comes to recruitment of the new faculty and also guiding and mentoring them. The fourth point is innovation assessment tools. How do I assess the innovation journey of a corporate? Because 99% of the students will become the future ready employees. Entrepreneurship is going to be mere 1%. And we are more bothered about these 99% of the students who can become intrapreneurs, technopreneurs, innopreneurs, and they can get great compensation packages. And the last and not not the least, this is for basically the students' projects and making the pitch presentations to the investors in the industry. So what is required for that is all covered. I will now straight away go to our World Innovation Network platform. Now here, I think besides giving the introduction and downloadable sections to all the tools which you will see, all our tools can be downloaded that I talked about. So people can go through, read the instructions manual. Another very important thing that we have is the instructions manual, which I will show you, which is very clear. It's a guidebook for everybody. No confusion, no referring to anybody for asking anything. So we start with the most important thing about how the knowledge resources, as I said, our most important tool is knowledge management system. There are videos, there are web links, there are knowledge management systems. So for example, everybody needs a foresight today. Without knowing the future, you cannot create an innovation. I mean, you know how Toyota Prius was created 20 years ago, when Toyota anticipated the future and a weak signal of a high rise in the oil prices, and it became the world's best car today. So we have given them we did a lot of research to give them the open resources on doing the research on the future technologies. So if somebody wants to see the future of mobility, he can simply go here, the future of mobility, and increase. So I think the embedded reality, so a combination of the mixed reality and the let us say the virtual reality is going to play a very important role in defining everything. So your startups already have a direction, your innovations already have a direction. It was very important to guide the students in the right directions, right? Now, the digital twins, for example, the whole industry, how it is going to be, converging, how hyper converged infrastructures are going to be developed as the world becomes a smaller space. And, the whole idea of mobility and the passenger drones, how our students can create some of the interesting projects in these areas rather than going and sticking to areas which are not futuristic. That is the idea of this. So what we do is we take the students to various radars. This is for creating breakthrough startups. This is a radar for understanding the future customer trends. Because after this COVID, the whole behavior of customers have shifted. I'm not clicking inside. Just to show you the top links that we have, the inside section can be seen, because it will take time. The whole idea is how organizations and students even can help the companies to take the innovation maturity index testing. So, you can start from here. And if they're going to, let us say, for their internship programs, they can say, do they have the foresight and strategy? So Praveen Patil, sir, you will appreciate that in India, many of the companies failed because, they never had any kind of a futuristic approach. They were engrossed. Hello.
Sir, I have one question.
Can you just let Arthur speak?
Sir, can we reserve the questions for the end? Because it is going to take a lot of time to, it will disturb the flow. Okay. Please note down your questions, everybody, and then we have about 15 minutes for you. Patil, sir, you were saying something.
No. I just wanted to say Arthur has a question.
Yeah, I would only request, sir, everybody should have jot down their questions.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Please, because I hope you will appreciate this. Otherwise, the whole timing and the flow gets disturbed and we might go off the track.
Sure, please go ahead.
Yes. So to what extent is the company aware of the value and the unique advantage it will deliver in the next years? Your students can help the companies in doing their assessments online. So supposing a company says that, we are at 2, okay, then you go to what extent do you have growth goals defined? Many of the companies do not have, but still they may say somehow it is allowed. Do you consider alternative futures, scenarios in your strategic decisions? You have worked for Tata's. Maybe Tata's do it, but many companies in India that I know in Pune, they do not do it. So I will give it a 2. To what extent is the management level committed to support drive innovation inside? So once you analyze all these questions, they will get a report which can be given by the student to the company to do their further improvements. This test takes about 15 minutes. I am not taking the entire test right now. So in the best interest of the time. Now, these are some, amazing tools that we have given over here for people to know and also see what are the WIPO technology trends. So they come out with their reports, to help the universities to figure out in doing their research. For example, the assistive technology that we have today, it is moving in which direction. So you can see, the smart eye wear, for example. This is very, very important. We have sensors. So IOL with the sensors or the IOL drug deliveries. The cortical implants. Sir, WIPO is one of the most important, institutions today, which is basically helping the universities in creating. There are many more tools that we have. We have something called the smart diapers. We have something called the feeding assistant robots to the children, because many of the mothers today, they don't have the time. They go to the offices and they don't get the maid servants. Can our students work in these directions to create the new solutions with many more iterations? I mean, the monitoring of the non-wearables, right? And health and emotion monitoring non-wearables is a very important sector. So the idea is that without analyzing and going into the future scenarios, it would be very, very difficult for us to create innovations, and our innovations will not be ahead of the technology curves. And that is why India lacked. So I studied everything. Why are we lagging behind? I mean, obviously, when we have partnered with US, they have seen something which is not only going to help Indian universities, but even universities in the United States, because everybody over there is not a Stanford and everybody over there is not a Harvard, right? So there are many universities in in US, one of the largest education systems, which needs this. How do we develop creative talent? Without the creativity, there is no innovation. So this knowledge management systems, it tells you, how it is very important for you to develop 5 levels of creativity. You can go inside and see the taxonomy of creativity and see that it is basically consisting of imitation. Many of our students are doing imitation projects. It's a copy-paste model of innovation. There is nothing new. But can we bring them to variation as a first step? Can we bring them to combination as a second step? Can we bring them to transformation as a new step? I think these levels of creativity are very important for students to understand. A mediocre creativity will have a mediocre innovation. So I think game-changing innovations will only come when you have some great original ideas which has never been created before. So if you have read Peter Thiel, the man who funded Facebook and the man who funded PayPal, he said that there should be no second Facebook. And anybody who enters into a competitive market does not deserve to be in the space of innovation. That is a very harsh statement, but very valid too. So it is very important for the students to understand that what kind of levels of creativity are they going. I mean, if you look some of the videos that we have given over here, it says that the power of creative constraints. So the students will see the videos and understand how I'm not taking you inside the video, but how the creative constraints actually create the game changer innovations. Right from the very beginning, we have to develop their mindsets. And it is not surprising that one of the most important Google principle, which we have today, is creativity loves constraints. So the benchmarking that we have done is basically with the world-class tools let us say, Scamper, for example. So do they understand the full form of Scamper? Do they know that Scamper stands for a very, very important tool in creative thinking, which is for substitute, which is for combining two things together? How do we adapt? How do we modify the designs? How do we put to another use? I mean, how do I put plastic to another use or a technology to another use? Drone is being used for the light entertainment shows today. I think that's very important. How do we eliminate? So Steve Jobs eliminated a CD-ROM drive in a computer and developed the MacBook Air. And the buzz was the lightest computer in the world. These are principles of design. These are principles of innovation. Can we reverse the conventional wisdom? So Nissan created a car recently, which does not require the ladies to reverse in Japan because they hit every time somebody or the other while reversing. Instead of that, they created a compartment which will tilt 360 degrees. So the car does not need any kind of a reversal. These are game-changing ideas. So how can, how can students use this tool for asking questions about the existing products? Using each of the 7 prompts above, these questions will help you to come up with creative ideas for developing new products and improving upon the current ones. So I think it's a very, very important tool and section that we have over here, which talks about this. And you can go to the other sections given in this section 3, which I call the knowledge management systems. And can you take your creativity test? Like, everybody took the organizational test for the student to understand at what level they are, and there they can make the improvements. So this allows them to straight away go and take the improvements in the system that we have, so they can start the test and figure out, so your whole assessment will be coming over here. You can go to the next, and get a report of your creativity level. That is very important. And it tests you on abstraction, on connection abilities, on your perspective, local or global, on your persistence level, on your complexity, on boldness, on your curiosity. It's an amazing test. I have tried doing that, and even I scored about 75% marks. That's the beauty of this test. And it'll also enable your faculty. What are the sources of breakthrough ideas? The next is, how do we develop creative ideas and breakthrough innovations? So the art of innovation today, we only know one type of innovation, which is the product innovation. Mostly that is understood as innovation. But Dublin's 10 types of innovation today, it will, maximize the range of thinking in the people. For example, one of the most important innovations that we have today is about the network innovation. You would have seen that Toyota Corolla collaborated with Maruti Suzuki, and they said that Corolla will be available in a Nexa showroom. Wow. They don't have to develop 10,000 dealers that Maruti already has. So people have gone to the extent of collaborating with the competitors. That's very important. The structural collaboration, the collaborations in processes, the product performance, systems, service, channel innovation, so that you will reach the wider world when you create a startup. The customer engagement models of innovation. Because if you don't engage customers, ultimately in the model that you have created, they are not going to buy it. So how do you foster your compelling interactions with the customer? I get today, the informations on my smartphones where I can easily take a decision to buy the product. Are we able to do that? So this will be, very, very helpful to the students when they develop your breakthrough products. And as I said, our intention is breakthrough, and how they can create breakthrough innovation. There are plenty of knowledge resources which has been put over here, which students can see and have their mindsets before they work on the tools. I strongly believe, tools are of no meaning if the knowledge is not amplified. And before giving them the tools, they must have their knowledge amplified so that the power of the tools can be unleashed. That is the breakthrough ideas. How do I assess my idea? Is my idea breakthrough? Is my idea a normal idea? So the students can take a test. And how does my idea rate? To have, to have a test on your ingenuity, on your various levels that you have on scale, on fit. So they can start the test over here so that, your ideas can be improved further if they are not innovative. So I'm not going further into the test. Just to give you the information that we have provided over here. And I think a very important thing for them is going to be today on the design innovations. This is going to be one of the most important sections for the students. Many of the students, the design thinking models, I can go and search for any product that I want to. For example, if they want to design a new IoT product, they can simply go over here, write IoT, and they would be getting the world's most awarded products to get an inspiration from. So they can search it, they can find out more and more and more and click for more information. I mean, this is a gas tank to the integration system. This is basically the babe bus wish. And, plenty of these ideas, which are so important for the students to understand what kind of a design do they have in mind. And as we proceed further, I cannot create everything because I'm not creative. I can simply go here and figure out who are the design firms who are assisting me in creating those designs. So I live in Gurgaon. So this has, this is basically, completely mapped to your location. The students can find out in whichever part of the country they are to find out who are these design consultancies or design firms who can help me to create the proof of concept, to create the design prototype that I have in my mind. That is very important. And for your university, because you will be, funding many of them, and you certainly don't want to see an unprofessional design. So I can go to Lopez Design, I can go to their website and immediately have a discussion with them online about the idea that I have. One thing this COVID did, that everything became online. There is no need to walk into their places. So you can see the work, you can talk to the people, you can contact with them and see as to, what kind of products are they making and how they can help you to create those prototypes. The idea is give them the best tools, first of all, the best knowledge, first of all. I mean, an amazing video by Tony Fadell, of Apple. He's the chief design officer. He says, why people did not think about that sticker on the apple. I mean, it's a fantastic video. And he says, every time I have to eat the apple, I have to first of all go through a pain area of removing that sticker. And many times while removing the sticker, the apple comes out. So design thinking, first of all, has to be embedded. I think people did not think about the empathy part here, which is a very important part of the design. Similarly, there are many other design principles by the world-class design firms called IDEO. Now, if I go to the open source kit we did a lot of research as to how our students can be provided with, first of all, a complete knowledge on design thinking. These tools can be downloaded on the smartphones. How the world's leading design company is creating world-class designs. It is so much in details that before they come to the tools, I think they understand what the whole process of design thinking is, and every stage of the design thinking is covered over here. How do you get a greater inspiration for the designs, and how do you, do the interpretation of the designs, the evolution of your ideas? How do you tell stories about your designs? Because our students are going to become world class. One thing which is very important now is, I think, make an orbit shifting innovation and move from the local sort of an approach that we had towards world class, which can compete with Stanford and the best universities in the world. I think this is what they get that our students are not exposed to. So when Sundar Pichai goes to US, he heads Google. And when Satya Nadella goes, he heads Microsoft. They're exposed to very, very higher levels of knowledge. I think creativity today is not about just being very good in your drawing skills or being good with the design. Creativity is about integrating the knowledge that you have acquired and applying that knowledge creatively for the purpose of developing new products and services. That is the objective of this entire module that we have prepared. So as we go ahead, we have many of the, links. The links are essentially to videos, to PDFs, to knowledge, and how the industrial design sandbox can be created, and how people are creating world-class designs. The top design studios in the world, in case you want to design your products which meets the world-class standards and get the investment. I think design innovation, where Tata's got really, I would say, were overtaken by Mahindras when their XUV came in. We never were conscious about the cost that was so important to Tata's. So XUV completely changed the design culture of the automotives in India. And I was telling them, because I was consulting to Tata's, that, it should not so happen that, because they were only thinking about cost every time. Cost, 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 and cost. So whether it was Sumo or Safari or, Indica, everything faded away because many, many good designs came in. So these companies are helping the world's best organizations to create world-class designs in any field. Now we have given that database. I think that is very important, because if you do not have the knowledge, it is extremely very, very difficult for us to create the world-class products. So how we get in touch with these organizations? The moment we get the funding, our next thing has to be to get in touch with these world-class organizations to scale up the products. And that is a very important knowledge that is needed. We don't know which are these companies. So our main research was in trying to connect you with these world-class, innovative design providers. The future is delivered today. This is a very very futuristic design company. So how they are helping you to create some amazing products which we have not seen. So that's the design part of it. We go to the next part. How do I create if I have a great idea, a great innovative ideas that must transform into an innovative startup? Because ultimately that is what we are looking at. Innovations just, if they are not monetized and they are not commercialized with a business model, they will not pay you anything in life. So the complete knowledge of developing the ideas into the, the startups, including helping them for creating the minimum viable products and, creating the proof of concepts, the POC versus the prototype and the MVP, the rules for successful POCs, the blogs of some of the best thought leaders. And I think this is what is very, very important, that it's a world-class knowledge that is shared with MIT to improve their ranking globally and not just in India. If you have your breakthrough ideas, as to how do we create that, I think the next step basically is to create our documents. So they can download many, many important documents. For example, the TAM, SAM, and SOM. Do they know what is the total addressable market or the serviceable market? So they will get a lot of knowledge and download all the financial documents required for making a business plan. And how do you make a successful pitch? I think one of the reasons our students are not able to attract the VCs or funders are the fact that they are not able to, make successful pitches for funding. The advice from Sequoia, which is world's #1 venture capital companies, how to start, what is to be in the middle, and how to focus on your team and the timing of the opportunity. This is very relevant. Otherwise, they will never get the money, because VC is a very, very, very next big challenge that most of these startups have, because they have to become unicorns tomorrow. How many unicorns can MIT create? I would want MIT to actually become the leader in India to create more unicorns. We are helping FICCI to create unicorns in India through their FICCI startup forum, which is there. They share their decks and we tell them how you can become one. We can provide you with that consultancy. The next is, the Shark Tank TVs in India, how the students can take part over there. Companies providing seed capital, which is different than the venture capital. How can you go over there and get your seed capital funding? Companies providing venture capital for the startups. So how can you go to the best venture capital companies in India? I mean, for example, if you want to go to Sequoia, which also has got the offices in India, the links are all given and you can submit your pitch presentation to them online. The pitch decks can be submitted online. You don't have to visit them. And that is, I think, a very important change that COVID has brought in. How we can, read the entire story and, how we can go further and find out as to, what other companies are doing. And many of the startups, that they have funded, many of the companies that they're working with. So these links are going to be very important for the students to understand who is going to be their funders, because they're very strategic funders. Everybody does not fund everything. Somebody is into fintech, and somebody is into green tech, and somebody is into AI. So no point in wasting our time in going to unnecessary funders. A lot of research that we have done will eliminate your research time. I think that was our agenda. Because many times institutes fail because they have not done the research. So all these points to improve knowledge, but then how do I connect the students to the corporates, the industry, academia? You can go here if you want to connect with Aditya Vikram Birla Group and find out what their challenges are and how many days are left. Still 20 days are left. And they keep on updating this. They write their challenges. And, so what they have to offer are the challenges, themes, hackathons. The partners are startups and the universities. And look at the dashboard. They have already collaborated with 36 startups for scale-ups. 62 are already there with them. And the presentations have been made about 220. I want the MIT students to take the part of this great advantage, which is basically there for them to leverage from. So many of the open innovation companies in India, GeoNext, GMR Innovex, Sambhav, $250 million to be leveraged, Tata Motors TechNet. So can you imagine? I mean, that today Tata Motors, largest company in the automobile, is engaging with the startup community. And what they are telling them is to participate, pitch, partner, and they are giving mentorship, access, data access, funding, and paid pilots. Sir, this has been a perennial problem for us. We have been talking about industry academia, but we never knew that all these things have become online now. So open innovation at Wipro, Bosch, Mahindra, many of these companies, have started their own open innovation platforms, which the students can connect with for their scale-ups. And let us say Vedanta, for example. So I can go inside and find out, what are Anil Agarwal himself seeing these startups, ideas. That is the power of the package that we have today. And they are giving partnerships, capacity, executive connect. They have mentioned their challenges. And one of them is wealth out of the waste, because Anil Agarwal himself was a scrap dealer before becoming, this Vedanta, which is a huge company today. So they will get mentorship from these kind of people. I think that is very important. And, so many of these Indian companies, but a great research happened, in the MNCs. Can you imagine? 117 companies, venture capital companies today are interested in investing in the startup ideas of the students. So we used to say that there is a queue for the jobs. But if the student has an idea today, let us say the health tech sector for COVID, you know, sir, how many companies are waiting in the queue? Pfizer Ventures, AstraZeneca, which partnered with Serum Institute. They're all open innovation companies. You have Merck Ventures, Click Inside. And click inside and go and see what Merck has to offer to the early innovations. A fantastic platform that they have created. So if you want to know more, so what they say is we invest in the early stage companies. The reason is they have to pay a lot of money when the companies mature. Billions of dollars were paid by Facebook to WhatsApp because it had matured by that time. So how companies can avoid that kind of payment has become one of their target of the venture companies to acquire them at any of the stages. So we have Merck Ventures, we have Johnson & Johnson, GlaxoSmithKline, Sanofi Ventures. They're all standing in a queue. Now they are in a queue to get the idea of the student. The student is the boss. He can negotiate. He can say, pay me so much of money. An institute can earn millions of dollars of revenue by having a partnership with the students. Our dependence was only on the fee structure. And that is why Stanford earns billions from royalties. Can we change the ecosystem, sir? Roche Venture Fund, Novartis, they are waiting in the queue. Cigna, can we have a better system of COVID analysis rather than RCTPT reports? Partnering with student founders to build the future now. Cardinal. Same is the case with the energy. Chevron is waiting, Shell is waiting, BP Ventures is waiting. These are all links given to their innovation ecosystem. So we have reversed the queue. And that is, I think, one of the biggest things that we have been able to do with this, which was very much appreciated by our US partners. Then accelerators. What do you want, sir? I mean, go inside Procter & Gamble. I mean, I don't have any connection with the company, but how MIT students can leverage the connection we have given. So market research need is eliminated because the current needs of the company is given. These are your customers. So how can I go inside and see so many needs that they have given? Now, let us say oral and personal family care innovations. There are 16 needs here. The market research is done. So many of the students, you know, they can actually see, now, for example, respiratory technology because of the COVID. Not only Procter & Gamble, sir, the venture capital companies that I showed you in the previous list are waiting for this. I think this is a $1 billion opportunity that our universities are not able to capitalize. Unilever, partnering with Pepsi, you know, Kellogg's, Starbucks, Coca-Cola Bridge, BASF, you know, what do you want? That is the FMCG sector. I can go to the automotive sector, pick up the idea that I have, and then the world's largest automotive solution provider company, Bosch. Now they say we want to create a win-win partnership between Bosch and the startups. What a time in the history of innovation. What a time, sir. Can you afford to lose this? That is my question when we start this. And then, you know, what is in it for the startups? Sell your idea, test your idea, learn your idea. How many students will have automotive ideas? This will increase the patents of Bosch. Speed, network, and scale up. What is in it for Bosch? You know, they get valuation and resources. Well, there are a lot of companies, about 250 in every sector, Fortune 500 companies that we have covered. And then the next section is about how do you resolve challenges of innovation. So let us start, you know, with the challenges which are given over here from many of the platforms which can be seen. So I would like to show you the Tata Innoverse systems, how students can see the challenges. The award money is 3 lakhs, 20 lakhs award money. You know, this will encourage them, sir. why they are not taking interest in innovation? Because nobody, and I mean, they don't see a monetary intrinsic innovation. And money is the best motivator. I mean, no amount of pep talk is going to help them. What is in it for me? So the students are very clear what they want. And so hundreds of companies that you will see over here, the startup competition, the challenges, I mean, a whole platform for them. And then I think what is important is technology is the most important section. I mean, all the pivotal technologies covered by AICT, drone technology, their applications, 100 applications of drones. One of them is the drone being used in the US for fire brigade. So you can see what kind of solution they have created.
They can capture both standard video.
This is going to stimulate their imagination. But this is not the one. I think what we realize is Samsung went to Silicon Valley, partnered with Google, and the world leader Nokia at that time was out of business. We need to provide them the solution, drone solution providers. So if they are working for a mining company in future, or if they're creating a mining solution, let us say for Vedanta that we studied now, they can tell Vedanta as to how this drone can be used for the purpose of their most efficient mining services. So the students must get exposed to the whole ecosystem of the technology solution providers. We had the accident in India. I mean, we had the problem in India about security of the drones, and we immediately added all these drone defense security providers and amazing solutions that we provide to our universities, and they can partner with them and get them over here. For health tech, for green tech, for robotics. I mean, robotics, let us say, you know, the future of robotics technologies. So the future of automotive technologies. If you want to see the future of the robotic technologies, they can see what are the future trends. So, and see, you know, what is happening in this world of innovation and how this company is creating kitchens with the robots. So I think that's a very, very important part. I have less time, but I cannot showcase all the solutions. Your 17,000 students whom you are drone solution providers. Who are the world's best solution providers? This is a drone security officer, you know, mapping the entire colony for the security. How important this could be for further development. The students can pick up these ideas and develop further. That they have shot. Yeah.
We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I will show you the other tools that we have. Now it makes sense for you to go through the other tools. And I think the most important one that we have is the 3D idea generator. You know, this helps the students. It's an innovation Rubik's. It helps them to think in a very creative way and come with the new fusion of the ideas, you know, that we have. There are 12 innovation cubes that we have, which they can think and generate new ideas for the purpose of their ideation sessions. The most important that we have, the mind maps. Conventionally, mind maps would be empty. Now, for example, you know, in our case, the Internet of Things mind maps have been given, and you can see smart automobiles here. If a student has to create ideas, he can pick up this, expand this, the entire menu comes in. And, you know, for example, the smart automobiles, if you see the ideas which are here, you know, it is so simple. He can pick up the subtopic, main topic on the ideas already given there and expand them. Very easy for me to, you know, pitch this to any professor in the institution as to what have been my ideas. This is the example from Tata Motors that we did, and smart automobiles. So the smart driving assistance, which is there. How do we create smart driving? One idea was to immobilize engine for drunken drivers, right? This is the idea which came and which is presented to the people. Second idea which came was, you know, the emergency. Drones for charging the battery of electrical vehicles in the emergency conditions, because this can happen at any time. How we can work on this? The driver safety systems talked about risk alarm before overtaking, so that no car ever meets with an accident. and it will not allow the car to, overtake. Then we go to, the pothole sensors and the pedestrian sensors. The important thing about this is that, the accident assist that we have is a seat belt to detect the heart condition of your health. And the overall thing that we have is red light jumping not to be allowed in the driver overriding systems. People can, make the mind maps, make the presentations to the industry, and see what are the various solutions which are given over here. I think, and there are 100 mind maps that we have for breakthrough innovations: alarm advanced replacement of battery, optimized operations management, replace side mirrors with a camera to avoid drag. I'm just giving you the power of this tool. Cloud-based infotainment system. They said we should connect with the Spotify, and navigation controls, guide for empty parking space. Green energy. Utilize, this is very interesting, utilize the wind blowing across while driving at the high speeds. Why should that be wasted? And the rat engine, which is there in the planes today, it gets activated the moment the plane's power system fails. This is the fan. How can we put this into the cars? So because electrical charging is a real problem. And if you want to see the rat engine video, people can go over here and click to that video and, see. So a very, very extensive, tools which we have given over here, which can show to the people as to what all is there. So I think our mind maps that we have, similarly, they can go and expand the smart retail, develop these ideas further. So what kind of an application you want to develop? Very simple, just add a subtopic. So the central idea, the main idea, the sub idea, up to that extent we have given, which no company in the world does. And the complete platform, for let us say the startups. I mean, if you see our mind map repository that we have, you will be very happy to see the kind of repository that we have created, for artificial intelligence, for drone applications, for automotive industry. I mean, we have given industry-wise, technology-wise, we have given the whole idea design-wise. So somebody wants to, let us say, apply drones in a new way to an industry, and he has an access to this mind map, and his job is to only think as to how he can apply the drones in the various industries today. So what could be the application of a drone in an airport? What could be in the hotels? Well, that is what it is. And in the best interest of the time, hundreds of mind maps cannot be shown, but we can definitely, take your questions because you have less time. I hope you got the flavor of the package that we have.
Yeah, I would request Arthur to come with his questions if he has any, and then I'll share my final comments.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Arthur.
Thank you, Praveen Rajmalai.
And sir, one question about sharing this mind map is here over, so if I want to share, there are sharing tools given. So I can go over here, I can go to the file, I can share because it's very easy for me. I can create a hyperlink. And, the most important thing is, if I want to, let us say, share this file, the share button says, how do you want to share it? On your Facebook, in a group of people, so that everybody doesn't know it. You want to share on your, email with a hyperlink going to everybody? Or do you want to share on the Xmind so you can customize your sharing so that everybody doesn't see? And if you want everybody to see, you can actually go on the Xmind share and develop a current sheet. I agree to share, upload and create a link. And here is your sharing, thing that you were looking at yesterday, which can come immediately and they can actually share that link. So private and as well as, I would say very, very confidential, but public, yes. So we have given you those kind of options.
Okay, thank you. A few questions, Raveen. I mean, some of those ideas were very interesting, like charging the battery with the side winds on a car, or having a drone charge an electrical vehicle
Yes.
that's stranded. You know.
Yes.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
First of all, on the videos, I looked at some of the dates on those, and some are very recent, at least, or your modification of it, even in July of 2021. Some
Yeah.
in June, I saw some in April.
Yeah.
There were some that were older, like 2019 or so. But
Yeah,
tell me,
because
what is your?
yeah.
How do you update those, or what is your practice?
Yes, sir. Very good question, because 90% of the data that you see over here is 2021, updated till June, July, and August, because our updation teams are working continuously.
So
And
you have teams that continuously update all your videos.
They get back to me with the research that I tell them to research on this area, because we are subscribed to many channels. So I also personally go through. So what we do is, you'll be very surprised. Very good question. 2,400 items were deleted from here in this year, because those technologies and solution providers became irrelevant.
Exactly. That's the other half, is deletion of old material.
90% of them got deleted, and on this 3,700, we have I think about 90% are dated 2021. Some of them which are also relevant, from their previous 2019 are here. So we have a very close look of screening the technologies for the research, because this research is of great value to you, sir.
Right. Okay. Let me go quickly with these other questions.
Yeah.
How many installation locations do you have presently?
Presently, sir, before this software is the result of my last 2 years COVID. When we did not get the opportunity to visit the universities, I was only doing research with my teams. And that is why you see it has come to this kind of a level that today the world is adopting it, because my idea was, I got a sabbatical of 2 years, and I could not visit any universities. Universities were not in a position to do any purchases because students were not joining in. Now, before 2 years, we did not have this software. We only have the mind maps and the idea generation tools. And we also have a couple of other presentations in the knowledge management. So we have set up about 25 of these centers in India, including lovely professional university. And all centers were physical centers. But now these are plug and play centers. You can, what do I say? Once we give you the distance learning license, you can plug and play with your distance learning solutions and start, operating your distance learning programs by offering the entire toolkit, because everything comes only on one thing. So,
let me see if I understand. During COVID, 2020, 2021,
yes,
no new installations, and prior to COVID, this software was not really fully developed or available.
No,
is that correct?
Absolutely right, sir. And after this was done, after the COVID, there are universities now coming to us. Our final talks are going on with MIT, Atul Chauhan. They are very keen in globalizing, not only in India, they have Russia, they have America, they have Dubai campuses, and the talks are going on in the final stages.
Right. Okay. Now let me mention a thought as you went through this presentation.
Yeah.
And even as we're beginning and we're starting, I would say that there are two major components of creating our innovation efforts. Well, there's more than two, but let me put them in two categories, okay?
Yeah.
One of them is to manage new ideas of students and professors, track them, etc. I would call that the new idea management.
Yes.
But the other one is the educational.
Yeah.
And on the educational, we haven't designed the educational course yet. We don't. We're not at that. The courses themselves I'm guessing probably would not begin until the next academic calendar year, but we have to prepare the material in advance of that,
Yes.
hire professors, et cetera, et cetera. So here's my question.
Yes, sir.
In your mind, would you say that your software or your package is better suited for innovation education or for idea management?
Now, I will come back over here with a very important thing that with this software, we do not, the innovation and startup policy says starting the MBA programs in innovation, which universities don't have. They are saying start the entrepreneurship and startup MBA programs. We don't have. So we can provide you with a license to start those programs. They're also talking about short-term and long-term certification programs. 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year programs can be rolled out from MIT. And not only for catering to the students at MIT, but entire Maharashtra region for actually, maximizing your revenue potential. That is one of the biggest advantages of our plug and play system. You don't have to do anything. Simply provide them with once we share the license with you, and simply provide with those licenses to people. Coming to the idea management systems, this software is more of an idea development, idea creation, idea, let us say to develop breakthrough ideas. We seriously did not work on, and since it's a breakthrough idea, we never wanted it to be shared in an open platform with many people, because people who do not have money and poor students, they may have breakthrough ideas, but there are people who will have a lot of money, who will steal their ideas and go and implement them. So with this interest in mind, with the best interest of the student in mind, we did not want them to make public. But yes, if they want to share this idea, I have a link over here with me on my screen. So I have to copy the link. Yeah, I have to copy this link and share with, let us say, Praveen Patil sir and you, so that it only becomes confidential. But if you want 17,000 students to see, you can post on your internal server's website so that it goes to 17,000 students. All I'm saying is, sir, the discretion to make it public or private, we have given the powers to you, unlike the bright idea where everybody gets to see. Because, and another point, sir, but one very important point, the value addition of the ideas from the others may not be required because they have all the tools. This happens when the students do not have the tools. And for the purpose of IP protection, it is very important to maintain confidentiality. I mean, Stanford and Harvard and LBS, London Business School, they do not share ideas of students. So the important part is for us to maintain an absolute secrecy and ensure that these breakthrough ideas do not get copied away. Imagine if somebody gets to know my idea of a drone charging the car, because I am working on that idea with a company called Varroc, and we already have a buyer. You will be very happy to know we already have a buyer called Tesla Motors, and we intend to sell that patent to BMW, to Mercedes, because everybody is coming with the electrical vehicles, including Tata's. This was my original idea, and I'm sharing patents on this. I will not want anybody to have this idea because we already have filed the copyrights.
Yeah. Okay. So
that is very important. Yeah.
Right. So I think the answer to my question is there are elements which are most suited to innovation education. There are other elements that are suited to idea creation.
Yes, and there is also, let us say, a very, very important part of this mind map for your 20 students that you talked about. How do we take
startups?
Startup. Yeah. How do we take this from a problem to scale up? Now, for example, they start from a problem.
Right. Let me ask one more question though before I take more of Mr. Patil's time.
Yeah.
And I just want to clarify or confirm what I think you are indicating. I think you're suggesting that one possibility, you mentioned all of Maharashtra, right? One possibility is that we could, and I'm using these words, you didn't use them, but we could private label your product.
Yes.
put our name on it, and
Yeah.
make it available to even those that are not students. of
Everybody.
MIT.
Everyone.
Everybody, right?
Everyone,
And-
including the corporates.
And you would provide the support for that. So it's an educational tool at that point primarily, okay? But if we did that and we generated revenues from that, okay, how would we be protected from competition? We wouldn't want some other university to offer the same thing and they say, oh, this looks like WPU.
No. See, we are very particular. If we give it to you for Maharashtra, let us say, I don't think it is going to be Maharashtra. It is going to be distance learning can come from the entire India, even from the world. So you can create a platform. We can co-brand the platform Innovation Next and MIT WPU, where in our best interest, we will not allow others to compete. So MIT will be the only university in, let us say, who will be getting a distance learning sort of an answer, or maybe a state. So there have to be, of course, we have to be compensated for that. We have to work out a proper MOU with that. I can see millions of dollars coming to you because of this, because of the COVID, because of certification needed, and MIT Innovation Next or Innovation Next will be out of certification. You can give your own certification and 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year executive development program. In fact, we will give you the complete package of what are the courses which can be rolled out. And and the prize money which is to be associated with that. These are premium programs, sir. Let me tell you one thing.
I'm very much aware of private labeling and the
Yeah.
advantages that can provide, because it can have our own brand.
Yes.
And I understand your suggestion
Yes.
that we can reach a market which is outside of our current student body.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
But here's the big issue in my heart. It seems like if you're offering it online, there's almost no boundaries. Anybody can sign up, anybody can get a certificate. It's very difficult to establish any boundaries.
Yeah.
And so if we explored something like that, and of course, we're not really at the moment, we haven't spent a lot of time on establishing the educational material.
Yeah.
Okay. But when we do that, and maybe we do it sooner rather than later, but I'm still stuck by this sense of embarrassment as a university that we have private labeled this, and then some company in Europe has exactly the same thing, and some company in Japan exactly the same thing, and they say, WPU, we thought this was yours.
No.
How could it be?
See, this requires you to obtain a complete global exclusivity license from us. Now, are you intending a national license, a state license, or a global exclusivity license is something that you have to say on distance learning to us, because the price varies. The target market for the world is very, very big. The target addressable market for India or a state is limited. So our licensing will depend on what license you want. Let us say I collaborate with MIT WPU today and give you an annual license, of certain amount. I do not want to go into your books of accounts. Whether you make 100 crores or 50 crores is none of my business. We will only have the annual license renewal, and we keep updating and that is taken to update the products, to pay the salaries to people. So we will work out. You will let us know, do you want an exclusivity first of all or not? And
if there was a global exclusivity license,
yes,
my experience with those exclusivity relationships in the past is there has to be a minimum revenue requirement in order to maintain the exclusivity.
Yes.
And I think that the revenue couldn't be a flat fee. It'd have to be on a commission basis, or a percentage basis.
Yes.
But if we don't generate the revenue and you don't get the percentage basis, then the exclusivity expires.
Yes. So what I will say is, there is certainly an upfront amount required to get that license from us. And then we can have a certain percentage if you're happy with that. So that will, but a certain upfront amount for a national license or a global license. So we don't talk to any other university on this. They will not have the powers to do distance learning that MIT WPU has. However, they can use internally for the students. So we have.
You understand how we would be embarrassed in the marketplace if our product showed up offered by somebody else.
No, it will not be done, sir. That is what I'm saying. You have to enter into a global or national exclusivity by ensuring a certain upfront payment along with the payment of the royalty, which will be renewed every year. So
Yeah.
then we will not approach anybody. But I'm saying, in the best interest of the institutes, of the students working there, we will approach universities only for their internal programs, not for distance learning. No plug and play models will be given to anybody in the world. That's a heavy license. That's a heavy loss of opportunity for me. I mean, I will be losing, I don't know how many $1 million if I don't do that.
Well,
How you are going to compensate me for that is a question which I want to leave it as a thought process with you.
Yeah. And my simple answer to that is you have to have minimum revenue generation.
Yeah.
If you don't get that, and it goes up year by year, it goes up higher and higher.
Yes.
Okay. We have to be able to penetrate the global market in order to retain global exclusivity.
Right. So we can work out, sir. I think it's a very good thought that we have. We also don't want to go to 100 institutions. Let me tell you, we want to go to one and stop this, the exclusivity agreement with anybody, the distance learning part. Other parts will.
One last point, and then I'll quit because I know we're over. Okay. In order to offer certificates throughout the world in innovation and by private labeling your educational package, because in my mind, you are very big on the educational component. Okay.
Yes.
In order to do that, we still have to have professors that can teach it.
Yeah. Sometimes, so what we do, it's a very good question you raise. We do the faculty development program for MIT WPU so that each and every faculty understands the nuts and bolts of using this. Although it is very simple, no rocket science, our greatest asset is our simplicity. We will have to only direct them what to use and how to use, when to use. So
it'd be better if we had professors worldwide matching the marketplace worldwide.
Yes, we can do that. So as supposing you have a market coming up in, let us say, next country, we will be associated with you for doing these workshops online whenever you desire. Let us say in Spain, or let us say you want to go to UK, or you want to go to any other country in the world. We will support, we will mention in the contract that InnovationNext will be supporting with the hand-holding services, with the training and development services, and with also the support, technical support, in case any problem arises. We will do that. So that's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And I'm very, very, excited with the new kind of possibilities that we can have with your institution, with the product that we have created is truly world class. I give it to, Mr. Praveen, and if he has any questions.
Well, just so you know, Praveen, I'm a finance guy. I like revenue.
I am a finance guy too. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, into the field of innovation because I love commercializing new ideas and I help my clients. If you grow, let me tell you, Arthur sir, if you grow and become a billionaire tomorrow, I will be more happier than myself becoming a billionaire because I come from that passion. That is my passion, to make others successful in life. If you are successful in life, you will make sure that I am successful.
Praveen Patilji, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
So, I want to hear you, Mr. Taylor, to understand from you what you think. We will have that chat one-on-one separately, but for now, Mr. Rajpal, what I want to understand from you is this software is a idea generator. It gives you multiple options and, kind of possibilities. And I think you've done enough research in this space to kind of, help generate those ideas. But my question is, once the idea is generated, is there a software in which this idea could be stored? With
Yes.
all,
Yes, and that idea storage is
Yeah.
basically a place called this mind maps. These mind maps, the
Mhm.
students will enter his idea. So who are going to be the technology solution providers? He will simply write that, this company XYZ that we have will be our technology solution provider. So I've written the name and I save the file in my name. The file is saved. So the output, ultimate output will be shown over here to everybody. And if I want to basically go over here and say that you make a presentation to anybody that you want to, people will see the entire thing over here as to how this mind map was developed right from the beginning. And how the student has created this, what was his idea, and how, I mean, the most important part, the industry or the venture capitalist is going to fund him. Our ultimate storage point is this, and you'll be also happy to know that ideas from the idea generator can be copied and pasted and stored, on the mind maps that we have created. So if I want nanotechnology or wireless energy, let us say, which is so important, I can simply click this and I can go into my mind map, which is here, and say that, this is the idea that I have, which has come from the 3D idea generator. And I can then expand this, basically this idea. Here, the subtopic is there. I can say that this is how I want to expand this. This is my resource. This is my asset. So this helps me now from a problem statement, how a startup, basically proceeds. You asked a very good question. What will be the next step? How will he create a new product design? So he goes on the next mind map because he's resolved the problem. Now the problem is to actually help you to create a new design out of the product. Now here you can see the various Scamper principles. That is why we took the student to Scamper. How can, I create a new design? And, the next mind map talks about evaluating the future opportunities to make it a breakthrough. So how the startup or innovation, they will evaluate, they have already evaluated the future radars. And from that analysis, I think they get to find out what is the future market. I think we have done a very comprehensive task. And the most important innovation mind map that we have here, basically prepared with my 20 years of experience. How do you create a breakthrough innovation out of the innovation that you have? How do you exceed value above the industry norm? So if you want to see this presentation, the student will be pitching this presentation to the professors. What is how did he challenge the conventional wisdom? So his ideas will come over here for the products, for the business models, that he has created. And, how has he basically created the new values in the product? I think very important part is the new values. And here, how did he exceed value above the industry norms? So if the battery life of Dell is three hours, can I make it 6? Can I make it 9? We are not talking about ordinary innovations here. The next thing is, can we reduce the price below the industry norms? So wonderful package for people to really create breakthroughs. They will evaluate every point. Convergence, I mean cross-pollination of technologies, integration of knowledge. Sir, watch my words. You simply provide this to this next generation, the alpha, even alpha I'm saying. I'm not talking about generation Z, to people who are only 14 years of age today. You see, because they are not used to working from books, they're used to working from the apps and tools, which are based on gamification of the ideation. They want to play games. So we created a Rubik's. So can you, for example, create an idea which will be nature inspired, and still cost efficient. So we talked about a wind energy for the cars, right? This is a tool which is going to, I would say, stimulate their imagination. They are underutilized. In fact, I would say the other way, they're underutilized. This will unleash their full powers. They will play and they will never get bored out of it. So I think that's a very, very important part that we have shown to you, that it is going to help them to create the next generation and next level of creative thinking. So how can I create a design innovation? They already have on our learning management system, on the World Innovation Network, the entire design channel given exclusively. How will they eliminate a part? How will they? And if they want to add something new, not here, simply enter, 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 and enter. So I have new topics. They are not bound by the mind maps here. I can simply go here and, subtopic is here. I can add the subtopic over here with this. And this is how my mind map is further developed. The tool will, I think while other conventional software suppliers provide you only blank templates, they are full of knowledge. So that is the answer to your question, sir. They develop the ideas and they store the ideas here, they save it. And one very, very important question, sir. Now, do you want to create a password for this particular package? Because I would not want my package, it will be there on the computer. So I can actually create a password for opening this file and provide to people, or I can keep it open depending on who wants to see. So both public and both private. Yeah.
May I ask one more question? You mentioned in the presentation talking about certificates with the possibility of having a 3-month and a 6-month and a 9-month, right?
Yeah.
Do you currently have any syllabus that is already designed, or not yet? That's just a thought of how the certificates could be structured.
Yeah, it is basically, see, they have to go through less material and the less sections. I mean,
but do you have any training course already using your software already designed or packaged, or not yet?
We have been approached by JECRC college that they want to roll out short-term programs on the basis of this for their students. However, they have not told us for the syllabus. They said we will design the syllabus according to whatever we feel is the best, because I believe professors are best suited to create the syllabus for the students. Once they are trained and once they have all the knowledge of various sections. Now, for example, startup package, these mind maps need not be given to the students who only want innovation certification. And entrepreneurship and startups, will be very keen on having these kind of tools along with that. So I think you can decide, and we can help you in co-creating that.
Syllabus is something, Arthur, that we will have to prepare, and we can prepare. That capacity we have internally.
Yes, yes. And I can help you, sir. No problem. Praveen ji will help kar denge aap. Koi dikkat nahi.
Raveen, one last. I keep saying one last question. One last question. This is one last question. Now, if we did some kind of global license,
yeah,
I'm assuming that our MIT WPU's customers could include individuals, could include students, but it's an educational package. Okay,
yes.
It's an educational package. But it could, our customers could also include businesses, corporations,
yes.
Anybody.
As you include more and more customers, the cost of your license goes up because my opportunity cost goes down.
No. The cost doesn't go up because it's revenue based every year. Every year, so, there's a minimum requirement.
Yeah, but your upfront cost, you have to share a minimum amount of upfront cost. You cannot simply have a license from me and say we'll give you the revenue.
But you understand if we're embarrassed anywhere, we're embarrassed everywhere.
Yeah, so we will give you the license for the individuals. It could be corporate professionals.
No, but that doesn't work. If the corporations have the same material, then we're embarrassed.
No, we are saying one thing. If you want that, sir, I will have to work out a package for you, and which will I mean, it all depends on what all you want. So if you
Yeah.
want a startup, if you want a company or a corporation or anybody to take this kind of a license, then our upfront fees will be different and royalty percentage is going to be there. So I think all this has to be worked out. We have no problems in giving you the global license for all the customers, but it has to be worked out. And the upfront charges, and the license charges for per annum for each and every category of customer, the revenue sharing, our share, all that has to be worked out and then shared with you.
I understand that, but I do want you to understand it's a very unique relationship because to private label a product and to then take the market risk of going out there, if it shows up somewhere else.
That is what I
You're
am
embarrassed.
saying. We already have an association with Global Innovation Institute in USA. That will continue to remain. Now, basically because that also gives you the edge. If you want to have a global certification from us to roll out this, it's a different package because the Global Innovation Institute of US is not having students, and they are not catering to individual students. They're catering to the companies. They will continue, and you also will be continuing. So we'll have to give you the license. Sure.
Okay, I'm done.
Praveen sir, yeah, please.
Sorry. So, no, thanks for your time. I think we've got a good overview of the product, and my understanding of what this product is better than what it was yesterday. I will internally discuss with Arthur, and we'll try and figure out and see what the next steps are. Of course, pricing will play an important role.
Yes. Yes.
We're talking to actually 4 vendors, 4 potential partners, in evaluating various systems. So we will, and I've decided after this happened, I was not getting involved in the whole process, but Arthur has set up a call along with the other teams also. So in the next 48 to 72 hours, I think we'll finish meeting everybody and then takes next steps based on what we see brings best value to us and is a good marriage for both partners.
Patil sir, one thing I want to tell you, when I met Vishwanath Karat sir,
Yes.
he shared a vision with me, and that vision was Vishwa Guru Bharat.
Yes.
And he invited me to speak on that in that beautiful dome that he created. And he told me, Praveen ji, aap isme kuch kaam kijiye. He gave me a direction. I was greatly inspired, and this work that you see today is because of that inspiration that Karat sir gave it to me. I have a great emotional, relationship with MIT WPU.
Right.
It is not only money which is going to play an important role, because I really love Karat sir for his passion and what he has done. If we can become Vishwa Guru Bharat because of this, sir,
Of course.
I think the world will see as to what MIT WPU has done actually. It is not just, creating a physical infrastructure, but actually training the entire world on innovation. We will export innovation to the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
That is my passion, sir. And I please give my good warm regards to him. And I can only tell you one thing. No software vendor in the world has created a knowledge system with this kind of a depth of knowledge. I have put in 25 years of my work to create this, my experience to create this.
No, I really appreciate the work you've done and the kind of research and, the kind of...
It has come filtered from that innovation consulting experience of 10 years to ITC, Tata's, Aditya Birla Group, which these software vendors do not have. So I can tell you one thing, this is filtered intelligence.
I'm sure.
And quality intelligence of the highest order. I'm not marketing to you, sir. I'm only saying that if you want to make a real impact, I think we are all set to
Sure.
do that. So thank you so much, sir. I mean, we extended our time. It was worth it. I want to give you billions of dollars, and I'll be very happy seeing you becoming even greater and having your next institute in USA. Why not? करते हैं ना सर, कुछ बड़ा काम करते हैं ना, MIT को US में लेके जाते हैं.
Sure.
With that vision and with that thought process, because I am a big, Vishnath Karat sir made me a very big thinker. हम definitely कुछ बड़ा कर सकते हैं. And imagine, sir, the situation, the problem of many institutes, pain areas in the country today, ये सब बंद हो गए, sir. They are all fighting. They're fighting for the survival. Can we save them? I think money is not the only agenda. Can we save them, sir? Can we save them from disruption? I think you as a leader have a great vision and a great role to play and enlarge the vision of Karat, sir. Not just MIT WPU, I would say entire country as a nation, because हम तो ultimately विश्व गुरु भारत की बात करते हैं ना सर. तो ये मेरा कहना है. मैं आप लोगों का बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ, and I'm very thankful to you. Sorry for using Hindi, Arthur sir. I'm very thankful to you. That's what I meant, and for devoting your great time. Looking forward to a wonderful association.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful day.
Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.